ゆっくりでいいから。でもちょっとだけ食べなね。
はい。So I was going about my break just browsing through the web like any other teenager when suddenly I just found myself reminiscing about March Comes In Like a Lion, my favorite series of all time. And I couldn't help but remember the food. This got me thinking, why do I remember its food distinctively of all things? And that's when it hit me. There is no other way to start this essay than with the opening, where we see a glimpse of Ray's lifestyle lying around our open books, unthrown convenience store food, and the shogi board with a played position. After which we see him start moving about his morning rather lifelessly, only taking a gulp of water before immediately setting off towards the shogi hall. However way you hear me say these, I do not criticize this at all, because man, truth be told, this is what most of us probably look like when we go to school or work. That said, I believe there's something about the accompaniment of the French song On Fermont les yeux rather than just straight up narration. Ray reaches the shogi hall and awaits his opponent, his stepfather.
じゃあ、始めるか。
What we see with every move played are Ray's memories with his foster family, of him winning the trophy, but then seeing his step-siblings lose. Therefore, the conclusion to this game could only be
負けました。
as Ray heads home. Once again, the journey continues in silence, accompanied by the melancholic music and white noises. That is until he receives an invitation to dinner, but Ray, preoccupied in his thoughts and emotions, would understandably just rather be alone and go home. Arriving there, we notice the stark difference between his apartment and the humble, traditional-style Kawamoto abode, along with their... These background details aid in showing the striking contrast between one that is lifeless and dull, and one that is beaming with life and vibrancy. However, of all these components in the production design in this anime, there can only be one king. And I just find it fascinating how this humble serving is the device used to not only introduce, but to also narrate to us, the viewers, the world of Sangatsu no Rayon.
Because in film, a chair is not just a chair, it's a piece of production design. And the type of chair you choose can say everything about the person and the world they inhabit.
So with that, let's start off with showing what food does, and continue with the dinner over at the Kawamoto's. Ray thinks back on the game where he beat his father and finally describes what exactly he felt.
言って言ってまるで素手で殴ってるような感触がした。
The emotions came crashing in, and right as he is about to descend into these feelings of despair, someone notices.
レイ君どうしたの？寒い？大丈夫？風邪かな？ なんかあったかいの飲む？
An offering of warm milk to break the lonely, cold, and uncomfortable train of thought Ray was on. But still, you may ask, how does this make the food in Sangatsu unique? Totally fair. So to answer that question, here's a scene that occurs 5 episodes later.
どうぞ。
ありがとう。
As Hina is appreciating her strawberry shake, she notices that Ray seemed quite aloof. She remembered.
レイちゃん泣いてた。きっと思い出しちゃったんだね。そういう時もあるものよ。お姉ちゃんはああ言っていたけれど。だけど、ノブ！今日は天ぷらなの。かぼちゃとか玉ねぎとかお姉ちゃんがあげるとすっごく美味しいの。だから。
Dakara? And it's just amazing. This registers to me on a personal level because it tickles on the aspects of Filipino food culture. There is an argument of how food can be taken socially rather than physically. What I mean by that is, in this case, just with the sight of the milk, or shake, or even dinner, Ray has indirectly consumed them. And that's how he gradually grew as a character throughout the anime. Hearing myself say these, it does sound like a very whack argument, but I don't think it's that far-fetched. Of course, when Hina invited him out to dinner, she alluded to keeping Ray company as opposed to him just being alone. Another of the social aspect of food. But it's just really funny how it was phrased to sound like the food by itself will solve Ray's problems, because I've definitely heard of this somewhere.
I don't know what it is about Southeast Asian parents, just families, where they try to solve every life problem by offering food. Like, every time when I was a kid and I'd visit my family, I'd either be like, oh, you don't seem like you're eating well. Here, have more food. Oh, are you feeling well? Here, have more food. Oh, you're not feeling well. It's because you haven't eaten. Have more food.
Yeah. And if you're fat, then they'll just be like, oh, you're getting so fat, eat.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And they're goddamn right. Another thing food does make a striking contrast. To provide an example, we'll continue on with the first episode. It's the next day, and Hina is moving about her morning rather vibrantly, even taking seconds before heading off towards school. They could not be any more different. However, this actually leads me back to the introduction scene. I've been going on and on about the food in Sangatsu, but there was something at the back of my mind gnawing at me. Why did the main character of this anime not even have a full breakfast? We take a look at some drama anime. They've got food in like the first few scenes. So Sangatsu, what gives? Why did Ray not eat breakfast? And you wanna know the answer I came up with? There's something about the presence of food when it comes to introducing the characters in this anime. Of course, there's the Kawamoto family, kind of self-explanatory. In the same first episode comes the sensei with his cup ramen. In the very next episode, Nikaido, whom he shares a pizza with. I could do this again and again and again. But how about those who don't? These are the characters I identified to not be associated with food, with an asterisk. And taking a glimpse of these characters, they're the ones whom, honestly, we perceive to be the antagonists, or at least feel cold or lukewarm at best towards. The asterisks are the scenes where they do eat food, as in this case,
お父さん。おかわりを。
a lovely family gathering with mouth-watering food until
お父さんって何それ？ごめんなさい。
私がそう呼べって言ったんだよ。
なんで？その子内弟子でしょ？養子でもないのになんでお父さんなのよ。
将棋のお父さんだからじゃダメなのか？ そういえば、道場の井上さんに聞いたぞ。
And this is where the connection between us, the audience, and his stepfamily soars. Because of one...
いい気になんないで、ゼロのくせに。
and two...
父は将棋を愛していた。良くも悪くも、すべてが将棋中心だった。
I think it's because of these experiences in his childhood that led to Rei's hesitance in coming over to the Kawamoto household. I find this doubly interesting because I found something similar to this scene in episode 4. Just the episode before. Hina wants to impress a boy at her school with a nice lunch, but...
なんでよそんちの子のお弁当代でうちの食費から3000円も
and Hina lets out.
何よ、よその子って言うならニャンたちだって桐山くんだってそうじゃん。何よ、お姉ちゃんばっかよその子にどんどんお金使って。レイちゃんよその子なの？
But this time, instead of brushing it off, they talk about it.
ごめんなさい。
ああ、いや、こっちこそ。
お姉ちゃんってね、何でも拾ってくるの。犬とか猫とか。昔からなの。ガリガリの子を見るとほっとけないの。で、ふくふくにするのが好きなの。でも、さすがに人間拾ってきた時にはびっくりしたよ。
俺？
でも大丈夫。きっとお姉ちゃんがすぐにふくふくにしてくれるよ。
そうかな。そっか。
そうだよ。
And this is when Rei realized that the Kawamoto store will always be open for him to come in. To all of you who managed to get this far into the video, it really means a lot to me. I would also really appreciate the likes, comments, or subscribes. Or not. It's all good. It's all good. So, see you guys in the next video, which I hope will be able to one-up this, cause maybe I think I still have room to grow. And with that, thank you so much again, guys. I hope I made your stay worthwhile.